Hey, and welcome to the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I am really excited to talk about homemaking, the learned art. I wish that homemaking kind of came natural to me, and I think in some ways it has, but in other ways it definitely has been learned. Maybe homemaking has been that way for you. It's more of a learned skill than one that comes natural. But I'm going to share with you some tips that I have learned that have helped me in homemaking and have helped me learn to really enjoy being a homemaker. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Thanks for joining. How's it going? Today you are listening to an episode that typically comes out on Friday. I usually do 2 episodes a week, one focused on pregnancy and tips and tricks to help you during pregnancy when it's really hard, and my other episode is a motherhood focused episode where I share with you things that I have learned and am learning and continue to learn in motherhood based on different seasons that can come and go with that and with your children. I am a mom of 4 and I am a stay-at-home mom. So that's a little bit about the podcast and about me, but today I wanted to talk about homemaking. So we're actually just going to dive right into it, and I'm going to share about 3 things that I've learned over the years. I've been married for 11 years and what has helped there. So the first thing is to be patient. I actually have a couple of relatives who are really good at decorating. And me, I'm kind of like my mom in that aspect. It does not come natural to decorate. But when you think about a home, often you can think about like the decorations. What did the homemaker decorate with? What does she use here and there? And just that doesn't really come very natural to me. It's been more of a learned art. Kind of along with that, I remember my husband once telling me when we were first married that it would be okay if I decorated like with the seasons, if I wanted to have some holiday decor. And that just was like, oh, people do that? That gives you a little insight of how green I was with decorating. I just thought you put a few pictures on the wall and they stayed there forever, which that definitely can be the case, and it was the case in my home growing up and has kind of been turning into my home, other than I do have a holiday shelf. But the first thing is to be patient. I've had to learn to be patient with myself when it comes to decorating. I go to these relatives' house and I look around and they always have switched something. Like it's not expensive or not something crazy, but they've added a little bit to their decor and it's so cute, and I'm always so inspired and like amazed. How do you do that when I have a hard time like picking out what could go where? And so I've had to learn not to let myself feel bad when it came to decorating. That they were a little bit better at it than I was, and that was okay. And that my decorating style would come and is coming. And I'm willing to try a few things instead of just being like, yeah, that's probably not going to work. I'm getting to a point where I'm like, yeah, I've had this idea possibly for this spot. Let's actually just try it. Instead of being like, no, I don't want to pay for decorations. This is too hard for me. It doesn't come naturally and I don't always enjoy it. I'm just not even going to try. So be patient and you will come up with your own things. Like there is only one room in my house that I'm really proud of how it's decorated. That's my kitchen. I really like the honeybee theme that I have going in my kitchen. But all the other rooms, like they could use some serious help with the decorating. So be patient. I'm trying to be patient. I am on the lookout for my spots and ideas and thrift store DIY projects that I can do to make that space a little bit better and a little bit more mine. So the first tip is to be patient when it comes to decorating. And if you're naturally good at that, wow, that's amazing and that's a great gift. And look at it as a gift. That's really hard for some of us to develop. Okay, part of homemaking also can be cleaning. And I know a lot of moms don't like this because of some of the memes and the reels that I see on Instagram. They are sarcastically really pretty down on being a stay-at-home mom and the cleaning aspect of it. And I'll admit cleaning isn't always the funnest, but it can be made funner and it can be made more joyful by your intentionality and by your mindset, by our mindsets, by shifting our mindset as the moms. Because we do kind of set the tone in the home, and if we hate cleaning, guess who else is going to hate cleaning? All of our kids. I have just gotten in a routine of enjoying to do the dishes. I like doing my dishes. And I have gotten to the point where a couple of my girls have almost been fighting me to do the dishes. The other night, one of them was even crying because I told them, no, I'll do the dishes tonight. And they really wanted to do it. So fostering and showing that love can make others want to do it as well. Not only the love, but here's another actual tip that helps, is speed cleaning. Sometimes my kids can get in a rut where they're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to clean. And I can kind of feel that way too. Like, I don't really want to clean up your mess either. I didn't make it. And I can kind of feel a little resentful that way. But speed cleans can get so much done so much faster and be so satisfying. So set a timer. We actually don't use timers very often. We have in the past. But we use songs. Let's see how many songs it takes to get this clean. Let's see if we can do it in 2 songs or 3 songs, depending on how big the mess is. But speed cleaning when everyone is helping, like picking up toys in the front room or even running through some dishes in the kitchen, can actually go really fast. And we've actually been implementing something new in the kitchen. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a trial run, but if it goes good, and like I think it has potential to, I will be sharing that with you in the near future. So speed clean. Okay, and the last thing that I want to talk about, it has been on my mind and heart for years. And this is another thing that I'm not very good at, and that is decluttering. I tend to be a just in case person. I always want to save things for just in case I might need it in the future. And I've realized that this can kind of be a problem, and it can make me a little bit of a minor hoarder if I just in case everything and keep it all. I still struggle with this, and it hasn't been something that I have desired to do a deep dive, like a Marie Kondo get rid of everything type thing. Yeah, I haven't gotten quite to that point yet, but I have desired to lessen the clutter that is in my space, because I feel as the clutter is lessened, that will not only be lighter for me, but it will be lighter for my children as well. And so I've been feeling that desire to declutter. Something I've learned with declutter is you get better at it as time goes on, because that has sure been the case with me. I have realized that if I pick up something I haven't touched for a couple years, it probably could be used somewhere else. And instead of looking at the things I'm giving away or donating to DI, I used to look at it as oh my gosh, it's hard for me to part with this. But instead of that mindset, I would shift to the mindset, I haven't used this in so long. Someone else is going to find joy with this. It's time to move it on and let someone else find joy with this, either clothing or toy or something that I'm decluttering. One other thing when it comes to kids' toys is I used to not be very good at getting rid of the cheap dollar store type prizes that sometimes kids get at school, or like Halloween parades, all those types of little random, really cheap objects. I used to keep those, and we had a random toy bucket, and I got to the point where the random toys were taking up way too much of my mindset and my attention. And so when I go through the kids' room, I have a garbage bag that I usually discreetly put those dinky dollar toys in that usually mean nothing to my kids, that they don't even notice are gone. And even just that makes a difference. If you're not very good at decluttering, just start with that. And like I say, you'll get better as time goes on. You'll realize things that you're glad you kept just in case, and other things that you're like, yeah, I'm really glad I got rid of that. I did not need it. So, and I don't know, I just feel like I have a little bit more time in the winter, and maybe your house is like mine, but it's just kind of smelling a little musty and dirty. And I'm feeling like, okay, I've got to declutter, organize, and be a little bit of a better homemaker in this aspect, because it's just kind of feeling grungy. Maybe I'm ready for some spring cleaning or something, but that has been something that has been on my mind. So I am actually going to challenge you to declutter something. I'm sure there's something in your mind, or a room or a drawer or something that has been on your mind, and break that down. So if you want to go through your kid's room, pick to just go through the closet or something, or underneath the bed. Just do that. Don't try and tackle the whole room, because I know as I try and do whole rooms, it gets a little overwhelming, and then I get impatient with the kids. But as I break it down and just do one little section at a time, I actually make good headway. I've done that with my kitchen over the last few weeks, and I can't believe the headway I've made. Sometimes I just open the cupboards to be like, wow, I actually organized and decluttered that, and it looks good, and I can actually see what I have in my kitchen cupboard. So anyway, just focus on one thing and do that. I'm going to do a little bit of a summary of what I talked about. There ended up being four tips that I talked about. The first one was to be patient when it comes to decorating, especially if you're not good at it. The second was to pick something to love, or let yourself learn to love something, and let that love be an example to those in your household. The third was to do speed cleans. Speed cleans make a big difference when you're feeling a little overwhelmed and overstimulated. Speed clean. Even if your kids aren't around, I've done a few speed cleans when my kids were like out with my husband or out with friends, and I just set the timer for 5 or 10 minutes, and I all of a sudden had a clean space to do what I was going to work on. Now, it's not very often that my kids are not here without me. Like, that doesn't happen very often, but if it does, like, it just makes a difference. Speed clean. Okay, and then the fourth tip is to realize that you will get better with decluttering as time goes if you're not good at it, or if it seems too overwhelming to go through it all at once. You'll get better at it and take one part of one room at a time instead of trying to do the whole room at once. Even if you spend 10 minutes on that part and you don't get through that part, just leave it and come back the next day for 10 more minutes. It actually makes a big difference how much we can do in these little chunks of time. The scriptures even say, "Now ye suppose that this is foolishness in me, but I say unto you, by small and simple means are great things brought to pass." And I feel like we can even apply that in our homemaking. As you implement one or a couple of these tools, I feel like you will be able to learn to love homemaking, just like I have over the years, the learned art. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for giving it a rating and review, because that helps other mothers find it. But most of all, thank you for implementing these tools in your life for a better motherhood. I am cheering for you, because I know this season is not easy, but it will be worth it. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.